Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you like my hair. Yes, I recently cut it. Well, not recently, it's been a couple of weeks, but yes, it's froed out and I will have a video on that sooner or later, but my hair is not what this video is about. This video is a collaboration with my YouTube mom, Go4thandconquer, and it's related to her Dear Daughter series, and it's titled In Sickness and in Health. And before you watch this video, I would suggest you watch that one first. The link is, or the video, or the link is down in the description box. But go and check that video out first before you watch my response to it. However, if you've already seen the video, the title itself, In Sickness and in Health, and one of the questions that she asked is, are you ready for marriage? So let me give you guys a bit of my background story, and this will probably kind of lead into addressing that question. And well, yeah, let's do that. July 2011 is July 4th, 2011. That is when I went natural, and that is also when I started my YouTube channel, BeautyCutright. The name itself came from my husband because he called me Beauty, and my last name is Cutright because I married him May 18th, 2011. During the time that I had the start of the YouTube channel, he was in Kuwait. He had already been in Kuwait for about most of the year, maybe about 7 or 8 months already. He had came home to visit and we got married. And thus BeautyCutright began, and a couple of months later he came home. If you don't know from Draw My Life video, I spoke of him. He is someone I grew up with. He happens to be one of my brother's very good friends, and he's also my best friend as well. And we got married. So there were some things about my husband I already knew, but just never really paid that much attention to. But when he came home, the year 2011, he was a little different. Now, I don't want to say a little, a lot different. I am married to my husband who has post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, and sometimes manic depression. I've seen a lot of videos where there are people who speak up and having this particular illness, because it is an illness. It's a mental health illness. It's a mental illness. And I see a lot of people on here on YouTube, because I do watch them, just to get a better understanding from different points, but different types of mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic disorder, schizophrenia, all these different things that people are coming out and talking about themselves. And it's so refreshing to know that they're speaking up and talking about having that particular illness. But what I have not seen is those who are spouses, to people who have mental health problems. And I am one of them. You guys have been probably watching me for a long time, and you can tell I'm a very passionate person, very resourceful, very upbeat, very positive, very gung-ho, stick to things. I'm very disciplined, very organized. I'm all of these things. And here I have to be very, very careful that, how do you say this? When my husband goes through his his depression moments, I go through them too, because he's my husband. We're one flesh. So how do I deal with it? Because that's something that I have to battle with him, not by myself, and not him by himself. I have to battle it as well, because it's an enemy. And when Go Forth and Conquer mentions that it is a spiritual battle, it is definitely a spiritual battle. It's an enemy to a marriage. It's an enemy to relationships, social, jobs. It is an enemy, and it is a real illness that affects a lot of people, considering the world that we live in. So how do I deal with it? I can probably go through this in another video, but I'll give you some quick things as to how I deal with it. Number one, this might sound so cliche, but I pray a lot. If you guys probably know, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I am a Bible reader. Yes, I am definitely a Bible reader. And there's a wealth of knowledge, principles, guidelines, different things to help you cope with life problems. If you don't believe me, you might want to check it out yourself. But it's there. This is, when I pray, this is how God talks to me. And it is very important that I try to follow those principles and those guidelines, and I try very hard to do so, because it means my marriage. And God is the institutor of marriage. He's the one who created that bond for man and woman, and he expects for it to be cherished. And so I cherish my marriage, and I love my husband. And despite, you know, his mental illness, but I have to be the stronger one when it comes down to it. And I take it very, very seriously. Now, is it easy for me? It is definitely not easy to watch my husband go through emotional and mental moments where he just has things in his mind that honestly I will never understand. There's no way I can. I've never been through his situations, his life. Even though I was a part of it, I can't, you know, I could never really truly understand. Can I empathize? Yes, but in most cases it's not always enough. So you just have to do that and be content with knowing that you can empathize with your mate and kind of be that stronghold for them when they're down. Yes, I commend him a lot. I have to exercise a lot of patience. Sometimes I have to learn to keep my mouth closed and be mild-tempered as best I can. We're both very passionate people. So sometimes, even when we do communicate, it can get very heated. But we do try very hard to understand each other. And that's the key. And this helps a lot. If you are interested in any information, things that I do read that kind of helps me a little bit further, like for example, I can probably show you this. When we go to meetings and we learn about things in the Bible, principles and stuff like that, the most recent article that we had to study at my Kingdom Hall for our Sunday meeting was Building a Strong and Happy Marriage. And I'll make sure I put a link down in the description box, because everything is on jw.org. You can find all kinds of information, things that can help you with just about anything. And we do learn from the Bible how to build a strong marriage. There's also Let Jehovah Fortify and Safeguard Your Marriage. And it actually mentioned about mental health and mental illnesses and how to face it head on, because again, as mentioned, it is a spiritual battle. But realistically, and it might sound cliche, but that's how I'm able to deal with it, because when he's depressed, I can be depressed, and I have to really stay clear-minded, stay objective when listening to him. It's not easy. It's not, but it's worth the effort to try and do it. I don't think a lot of people out there really talk about being a spouse to someone who has a particular mental health illness. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess that's the best thing I can really say. So if you are contemplating marriage, you gotta be careful and really look in yourself and see, can you handle, not everybody really can, but you have to be someone who really believes that God can help you through things, because he's the only one who can. Nobody else can. We're all imperfect. So but yeah, and it was early on in my marriage. My husband was the one who recognized it and told me that he had it, and he went and got help. Now, no, we haven't really had any real therapy. I haven't, but I can say there was a person, there was a couple of people, but there is one that I want to mention. Her name is Toshiba. If you're watching this video, thank you, girl. Even that small amount of time of talking with you and listening to you, it did put things in perspective for me early on in our marriage. She was someone that I reached out to from a comment, and I read something about her, and it just, I reached out to her, and I shared with her what I was going through, and I had no clue that's what my husband was going through. Post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, especially just coming from overseas. I had no idea how the military world was, and I know that some illnesses come from just genetics or just social things that happened in the past. It could be a million things. But yeah, she really did help me to see that, and that's where the only thing I could go to was prayer. I had to give it to Jehovah. I really did have to, and learn from Jehovah on how to handle it to help my husband. This is my job. So I take it very seriously, and he works very well with me, because I know it's hard for him, because he's dealing with someone who doesn't really, you know, understand. I can honestly say that I don't understand, because I don't, but because I love my husband and I really want to put into it what I want to get out of it, you know, I work with him. You know, it's not easy. I have to be honest. It is so hard at times, and Go Forth and Conquer is right. You are going to find yourself on your knees praying a lot, and you just need to just let it out. Sometimes you're going to have to cry. I mean, trust me, I do. I might look happy all the time here, which I probably am happy all the time, but there are just times where when stress comes about, you know, and I'm noticing my husband is slowly falling into that edge, he does talk to somebody. He does try to, you know, I don't like to say the word pacify, but to recognize that, yeah, he sees that it hurts me to see him like that. So he tries his best to pull it up. But, you know, sometimes it's not that easy for someone who has depression or post-traumatic stress disorder for them to do that, because of the things that go on in their head. And it's just not easy. But working towards it with God's help makes it worth it to work through it, because we're all imperfect, and that's just life right now. So, but if you guys have any questions, you can leave them down in the comment box if you want to. I would love to do another video on this, especially if it has something to do with questions you guys want to ask me, and the only way I can do it is talk it through instead of typing these long paragraphs responding to your comments. But yes, if you got any questions, anything else that you would like to know, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. And I also have a second video, because this is done in 2 parts. The other video is me and my husband actually conversating about how how we work. You hear how we actually communicate when he's in his moods and his modes and different things like that. And it might give you a better understanding of the best way to communicate, especially if you're the person who has the hardest time understanding and you really want to understand, but all you can do is empathize. And trust me, sometimes it may seem like you would feel helpless, but you're not. Your empathy in most cases is all that you have, and it's enough for the time being, and let God do the rest. But yeah, that's timing. But yeah, go and check that video out. I have that video linked down in the description box. Please make sure you see Go Forth and Conquer's video, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing dear daughter collabs quite often, and I'm going to be responding to them and different things, and that'll get you guys to know me a little bit more, and definitely you get to know my YouTube mom more as well. So like this video if this was eye-opener for you, you enjoyed listening to it, and you would like to know more. Thumbs up this video. Make sure you do the same thing for Go Forth and Conquer's video, and check out the next one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Actually had boots on ground, if you will, and that's how they feel. You really understand where you're coming from.